Top Rank and Vasyl Lomachenko want to fight George Kambosos after he beat Teofimo Lopez. We're going to talk about that. Stay tuned. We unpacked.
We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live.
What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you throw a like on the video. Listen, I don't know how you found my video, but somehow, some way, you made it. Please help others arrive at the content by throwing the like. Vasyl Lomachenko, he wants to fight against George Kambosos, who just beat top-ranked fighter Teofimo Lopez. It says, can Loma regain again? Vasyl Lomachenko wants to fight George Kambosos Jr. next, says Top Ranks Prez Todd DeBuff. He wants his titles back. Now, right off the beginning of the article, there's a problem. He says he wants his titles back, but he lost his titles, and he lost them to Teofimo Lopez. And it's not like it was a controversial thing or anything. Like, as if we don't know Teofimo did enough to win the fight. So it's like you can already see the stages being set. Why are they saying he wants his titles back? Just because you once claimed the title, that doesn't mean they're your titles. Like, for example, the same people with old media probably won't say Deontay Wilder wants his WBC title back, you know, seeing how he lost it to Tyson Fury. But you can already tell the persuasive writing. It says Vasyl Lomachenko has approached George Kambosos to discuss a fight to rightfully decide the lightweight's #1 division, says Top Rank president. Lomachenko shown in a performance so dominant over Richard Comey that he refused to pursue a knockout and instead gestured for his opponent trainer to withdraw from their man in the fight. Once again, I don't understand why this is being written like this, but I didn't write the article. They're giving Lomachenko a bunch of credit for trying to bite off of Roy Jones Jr. and not succeeding in doing so, right? Lomachenko, he tried to showboat, and he was like, man, get this guy out of here. And then after his opponent got a second win, and he wasn't able to actually stop him. So, you know, to me, that's an L. Like, that doesn't look good. Doesn't look good when you're trying to showboat and you possibly could have got another knockdown or a stoppage, and then you play around and then you can't seem to get this guy out of here. Says he had lost 3 world titles to Teofimo Lopez, who in his first defense had them ripped away in a shock defeat with Kambosos. And to me, I picked Kambosos, so I guess I'm just going to continue plugging away at it in the world of boxing. But I feel like I'm on my own island when it comes to this sport and my thoughts. People call everything an upset. And to me, Teofimo, he's 22, 23 years old. He's a young cat. He beat Lomachenko fair and square. But styles make fights, layoffs. He hadn't fought in like a year. A lot of promises that Teofimo's side made on, you know, getting Kambosos out of there and things like that. So I don't look at these fights as these massive upsets. I feel like people being called bums and cherry picked, and also massive upset gets thrown around so casually in the sport of boxing. I don't look at Kambosos as this massive upset. Like, I don't care what the sports book and what them are saying, because that's just people who put money down and had a belief that the fight was going to go a certain way. But from my knowledge, there were still questions. The point I'm making is there's still questions about a young fighter until you get to like the Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao stage of your career, where you have 50 or 70 fights, you know, to your name, and you fought the highest of caliber. We don't really know a lot about a lot of fighters. And I think that in this microwave society and social media, digital age that we live in, people forget that. But I digress. Let's keep going. It says Top Ranks Todd DeBuff, who promotes Lomachenko, said this about chasing Kambosos Jr. And I'll highlight it and we'll do yellow. Lomachenko has made it very evident to us and to his team that that's the fight he would like. We are amicably trying to have discussions with them for a fight in the first half of next year. Top Rank promoter Bob Arum previously told Sky Sports, I think it will happen, and insisted that Lomachenko would travel to Kambosos' home country of Australia, right? I am optimistic that at the end of 2022, we will have Loma fighting back for the titles, Arum said. Yeah, and it's Dean Lauren again, the Australian promoter who worked with Top Rank to stage Pacquiao versus Jeff Horn in Brisbane, said the key thing for George is if he wants to become massive in Australia, what he's got to do is defend these titles against a big name and win. If he keeps winning, Australians will love him. Ukraine's Lomachenko is a 3-weight world champion who was rated among the world's elite boxers before his surprise loss to Lopez. Again, listen, if all these fights, if what I'm saying is wrong, how come I have content and I pick Teofimo? What do I know about boxing that all these other writers and everyone saying every single fight is an upset aren't telling you? I literally picked Lomachenko to lose to Teofimo via decision, and that's what happened. I literally picked George Kambosos to win a decision against Teofimo, and that's what's happening. But every time you read these articles, it's like, oh, Lomachenko. It's because people aren't even, it's like a lot of fanboyism in the sport of boxing, and I don't really feel people appreciate the sweet science and respect it. So you see it a lot with the persuasive writing, and like old media specifically, they put Lomachenko on such a pedestal. It was like he could do no wrong. And there's no fighter that's really infallible, especially a guy like Lomachenko. I think when I see Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Floyd Mayweather, and David Benavidez, you know, I see a ton of guys, Jaron Boots Ennis. I feel their styles are a lot harder to beat. Like if you look at Lomachenko's fights, Lomachenko's face, especially as he's moved up and he's not way bigger, because when he was a featherweight, he was significantly bigger than a lot of his opponents if you look at the face-offs and stuff. But as he's got to lightweight, it's like his style, and then they're gonna say he's old and, you know, has so many fights and things like that, but he hasn't looked the same because guys are bigger and his size or maybe a little bit bigger than him, and styles make fights. So Lomachenko, I think he's a good fighter, but he's struggling to finish a guy he has badly hurt again with Richard Comey. And this was the same case with Jose Pedraza. The same guy, Jose Pedraza, Gervonta Davis, in a step up, fought the guy at his true weight class at the time, Pedraza, on a co-feature to Badu Jack versus James DeGale in New York. And Tank Davis, who only had 15 fights or so, destroyed Pedraza and won every second of the round, and then ended up stopping him. He ended up stopping him. So, you know, it's just weird to see when I read articles and it says Lomachenko's 3-weight and he's rated elite before his surprise loss. It really wasn't a surprise. The only reason you guys are surprised is because you don't really know ish about boxing, and it shows. And you didn't expect it to happen because you don't know ish about boxing. So all in all, it's going to be interesting to see what George Kambosos decides. It's clear that he sounds and believes he's in the driver's seat, and somebody's going to have to fight him in Australia. I don't think that would be the case with Gervonta Davis. I don't see Davis giving up his A-starness, A-side power to fight Kambosos in Australia. Again, I'm not Davis's manager. He hasn't personally said this, but I think Davis is such a A-side. I don't see them giving up ground, even if Kambosos has titles. But maybe that's a fight that's on the table. It says Lomachenko has rebounded with 2 impressive wins. Lomachenko, age 33, among a division of younger rivals, Kambosos, Lopez, Devin, Haney, Gervonta Davis, and Ryan Garcia, but has shown no signs of slowing down. Again, more persuasive writing from whoever wrote this article. To me, again, maybe I'm on my own planet in boxing and I'm just going to keep doing my thing. But Lomachenko's definitely showed signs of slowing down. How did he not show signs of slowing down? The first guy he fought that was calling him out, Teofimo Lopez, that had a pulse and, you know, had some good intangibles, some boxing ability, power, speed, you know, youth and hunger, and was tenacious, beat him. Beating Nakatani and Richard Comey, I mean, what are we talking about? See, and I'm gonna have to save this for another video, but we have to really start outlining what is being put out, because there's a lot of people that put out what they want to put out in the world of boxing. And my thing is this: when it comes to Tank fighting a guy like Isaac Pitbull Cruz, that has never been stopped and never been dropped that I can remember, right? And people like Ryan Garcia are saying that Isaac Pitbull Cruz and all of Tank Davis's opponents are C+ fighters. So it's like, who made Richard Comey and Nakatani the poster boys for, you know, lightweight prestigious? Like, what made that such a prestigious accomplishment? Because Lomachenko's fighting him? Because top ranked fighters are fighting him? Teofimo? And it sounds weird to me, because I really think Isaac Pitbull Cruz is a nice, I think he's nice. I can't wait to see his next fight. And where he's at in his career, I can see him giving lightweights real problems. Richard Comey, I would never put him in any type of top 10 kind of conversation of real guys that I think are going to demolish a division. Yes, he has power, but he's also been stopped aggressively by Teofimo, things like that. It says Lomachenko is a poster boy for many things, said DeBuff. He was aggressively matched. He came right out of the amateurs and fought for a world title, second fight. He doesn't look at a setback as his value going down, but it has. He looks at it at a reset to go forward. He has come back with 2 brilliant wins, and he never says no to any opponents. He wants his titles back, but again, he lost them fair and square, and his team wasn't smart enough to put a rematch clause in there, or chose not to, so it's not really his titles because he had them. Lomachenko's most recent win produced a unique moment. After knocking Comey down heavily, he signaled for the rival's corner to stop the fight, which I already talked about. When they let Comey continue, Loma chose to coast. See, look, bro, who is writing these? It says, bro, they are giving Lomachenko way too much clout. It says when they let Comey continue, Lomachenko chose, so he chose to coast to a unanimous decision win. So I'm supposed to believe that Lomachenko, first of all, Comey was hurt and he looked like he was in bad shape. But Lomachenko, after he showboated, I'm supposed to believe that he chose to coast and allow, this all sounds like propaganda. He chose to allow Comey to survive. Like, he carried him, bro. He couldn't stop him. There's either if whoever wrote this article and the people who think that in this given situation, a dangerous puncher who's big, Lomachenko had him badly hurt and chose to allow him and play with his food, then Lomachenko's an idiot, because you don't play with your food in boxing. If you have an opponent who's a vicious puncher and needs a knockout to win, and is capable in terms of has that type of power in their gloves to do these turnaround punches if they land, I mean, it's foolish for any fighter. Anybody who's a great fighter and an elite fighter will tell you it's foolish to play with your food. If you have an opportunity to safely get someone out of there, that's what you do. I mean, this is not even just exclusive to boxing. We could talk about let's say a police officer, if they get called and this guy has hostages and he has weapons and they have an opportunity to take the shot, and these people who are endangered, you have a chance to end this standoff, and the person is not trying to go peacefully, and you have an opportunity to, like, where there's a lapse in judgment, or the hostages are safe and you could take a clear shot, shoot them in the leg or whatever, then that's what the cop would do, especially if there's an opportunity. So that doesn't even sound advisable that Lomachenko would allow a guy to survive 5 extra rounds when he needs a knockout to win. That's just foolish. Says Lomachenko is a special individual. He is incredibly gifted talent-wise. When he had Kambosos hurt, he didn't want to go forwards. He looked for help from the referee. It was a sign of showmanship and class. He never threw hard to Kambosos' head. He has, I mean, this is just it sounds like Top Rank paid the Sky Sports or something to write this article. He had an incredible observation regarding this, yada, yada, yada. So the bottom line, I told you the fights that I want to see for Kambosos, and it's not Lomachenko. It's either Devin Haney, you know, and that will solidify who's truly undisputed since the WBC made a mess, or Gervonta Davis. He's the most lit dude in them light divisions anyway. I don't know if the fight would happen in Australia, but it's a great fight, and I would like to see either one of those. You could see Top Rank, they're trying to put their bid in, and we'll see what Kambosos and team decides, but they're already trying to put the bug in the ear to stifle the black fighter, Devin Haney, who has an opportunity to be undisputed, and they also want to prevent Kambosos and George Kambosos, I mean Tank and Kambosos, because at the end of the day, that would skyrocket Tank's profile as well if he could get Kambosos and win all them belts. And they're trying to give it to a 33-year-old Loma, who to me, another reason, I'm just being honest, I think Loma's a cool fighter. He's a good fighter. He has skills, but at age 33, it would be better to see Kambosos mix it up with Lomachenko has less than 20 fights and he already has 2 losses. So he's had opportunities. He's had some big fights and he's already lost 2 times. I'd rather see undefeated Devin Haney, undefeated Gervonta Davis, undefeated George Kambosos, right? I don't know if Teofimo's moving up like he said, so he might not be in the conversation for a Kambosos rematch because his team didn't really seem like they wanted it all too much. And that's another thing. Anytime a black fighter loses, especially if it's unexpected, upset, or controversial, it's almost expected for the Andre Wards to rematch Kovalev. Almost expected for the Floyd Mayweathers to rematch Maidana or Castillo. But then a guy like Teofimo loses, a non-black fighter, and now all of a sudden, you know, there's no pressure for a rematch. Lomachenko loses to Salido. There's no pressure for an immediate rematch, but whatever. Back to what I was saying. I'd rather see Kambosos in with the young, talented fighters, and I think that overall means more because Lomachenko, he's a good fighter. He had an opportunity. He didn't have a rematch clause, and he lost bad to Teofimo. He wouldn't throw punches. And Top Rank, it's always like some damage control after popular fighters lose unexpectedly. Oh, his shoulder was bad. He broke a butt cheek, etc., etc. So that's my 2 cents. I really want to see George Kambosos with a fresher look. And Lomachenko, you know, styles make fights. Lomachenko, I don't think it's better for boxing for him to fight Kambosos. That's just being honest. I'm not saying that the fight can't happen, but Lomachenko, age 33, he's never been on pay-per-view. That's not really a pay-per-view fight to me, style-wise. Lomachenko and Kambosos in Australia, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't hit the same. So we'll see. Ultimately, Kambosos has his own team. We'll see what he decides. Let me know what you guys think. We unpack.
The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernation's got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster.